Right by the town of Merzouga is Morocco's Sahara Desert, a dreamlike escape into endless golden dunes and starlit skies. The vastness of the dunes makes you feel small in the most beautiful way, like you're standing inside of a painting that stretches on for miles. Desert camping here is more than just a stay. It's a full experience with traditional Berber music by a fire, lots of warm mint tea, and quiet moments of stillness under the Milky Way. If you're looking for a peaceful and deeply grounding travel experience, this is one that should definitely be on the list. After a 2-day journey from Marrakesh to Merzouga, we've made it to our luxury tent, which we'll be glamping in for the next 2 nights. We're enjoying this exhilarating road trip through Morocco thanks to Holiday Morocco Tours, and if you're interested in doing any of the things that we do in this video, we'll link them down in the description box.
We're going to be riding camels, exploring local markets, and other Berber villages that are nearby, and I can't wait to see what all we get up to. So without further ado, let's go.
The camel's back at 6 o'clock to head off to a spot for sunrise.
Whoa.
And we are actually riding one of the single hump camels. They're Arabian. We've ridden a camel in the past before, but I just always wondered, like, what did we ride on? Because if there's only one hump, are you just sitting on top of the hump? And the answer is yes. I'm sitting on the single hump right now, and it is so peaceful because not many people are up yet. Just dropped off our camels back there, and we are now hiking up to one of the biggest dunes from wherever we were staying.
I do think coming for sunrise was the move because it's so peaceful, and the dunes have also had like time to reset. They're so pretty.
Yeah, they almost look untouched.
Yeah.
Because all of the footprints, all of the ATV marks, they're all gone. Light of day has officially hit the dunes, and it is crazy to see how vibrant the landscapes get just by the peak of the sun coming over the horizon line. Everything gets super yellow and blue, and it's not that they weren't already yellow and blue, it's just the saturation gets bumped up like crazy.
Yeah, I think my favorite part of the mornings is watching the shadows, because they just cast such large shadows in the morning. I mean, you can see behind us, Chad and Claire shadows are quite long and tall, but we get much shorter during the day.
I will never get used to that.
I have a little fun fact. So apparently the hump on a camel's back is actually just a giant thing of fat. I was looking it up this morning.
Oh, Chad says like the camel's hump, he also has a fat reserve called the love handles. I don't know how I feel about that.
After our sunrise camel ride this morning, we've actually driven about 40 minutes out of the desert to the old capital city of Rousani. And this city was once known for trade from all throughout Africa, and it was the historic capital city of Morocco, apparently, is what our guide was telling us. It's so cool to just imagine all of the history of this place and like the livestock, the spices, the vegetables, everything that was traded here, and how it's spread throughout Morocco and just throughout the world. But the stop that we're at specifically right now is actually a museum for the grandfather of the current king.
The gardens in Morocco have been one of my favorite places to explore just because not only are they very good at landscaping, their tile work is just magnificent. Being able to walk along these shaded tile pathways into the lushness of the greenery, oh, it makes me feel so calm, and just hearing the birds chirping all around me, you just never expect that we're in the middle of a desert.
Just about a 10 or 15 minute drive, we've made it to the Rousani Market, which is only open for about 3 days each week, and we happen to have made it on one of the days that they're open. They won't be open tomorrow. So I'm really excited to just explore, and I really want to try some high quality dates. So I'm looking out for those, and I'm going to ask our guide to help us out. Walking around the market for a while, we've seen clothing items, hats, vegetables, fruits, spices. We've seen sheep and cows, and now we made it to the parking lot where a lot of the locals from the nearby villages come on their donkeys, and they carry all of their vegetables and produce to the market using these bags that are actually right beside us. And they go on the donkey and they just walk with it, or they ride it. It's honestly so compact. You can fit so many vehicles right behind me. Finally getting the dates. I will say, I don't know if dates are like in season right now because there's only a few stands right in the front. We just got to try one and it was really good, so it's gonna be a nice treat.
Hello, nice to meet you. Yeah, this, how are you? How are you?
Yeah, very good.
Yes. Very good. Alhamdulillah, thank you God. Yeah, if you're
We are currently at our guide Mubarak's home. This is where he grew up, and we were sitting in front of him and his grandmother. We met his sisters and his mother, and they're gonna be making us couscous for lunch, which is so sweet. Like we've said a million times, hospitality in Morocco is next level.
I already feel at home. We had to take our, well, we didn't have to, but we decided to take our shoes off just like we do in our house.
Yeah.
And it's so cozy. We're in like a little living room area that might be like a multi-use room.
Yeah.
Ever since leaving Marrakesh, we've gotten to spend a lot of time with our driver, Mubarak. It is wild to hear his stories and his perspective because he grew up with parents and grandparents that were nomadic Berber people. And the term Berber is like a catch-all. There's a lot of different tribes, but basically the concept behind it is that the people here are nomadic. They're constantly on the move, especially historically, maybe not as much today, in search of water, of resources, and just ways to take care of their livestock and themselves. They're just trying to find resources as they move around the earth. And because of that, I've just gotten to hear some stories from them. And it's only stories them talking about their parents who were actually nomadic. And I've just been so in awe of the wildness behind it. I think in our society that Claire and I live in and are even part of with this channel, we are scratching the surface of a depth that we don't fully understand. Like, they are so disconnected from technology and from commerce as like, you gotta make money to live. And they have an appreciation and understanding for this world that I can barely fathom. Just even getting to spend some more time today with our driver's grandmother, having that meal with her was just really special. She just kept on saying, eat, eat, eat. And they're like, eat before you drink, that way you can fit more. And I'm like, this feels like Claire's family.
Yeah, it really does. Getting the chance to be welcomed into a Berber household and share a meal with these people who have probably spent decades perfecting their couscous recipe. They were telling us about the entire process and just how much time it takes to make that one dish.
Yeah.
And I just felt so honored to have been welcomed into their home. Our experience in the dunes right now versus this morning is very different because this morning it was so windy. We were getting blown all over the place, but right now it is just so still. But because it is so still and serene, you can hear just so many different sounds. And it's not that they're very loud, it's just because the dunes are so quiet right now. So I hear some sheep and some cows, like some cowbells, and then I also hear some chickens, some ATVs going up and down the dunes in the distance. Our guide was telling us about how on nights like this where the earth is very still, he would bring a blanket out and he would just sleep under the stars and just take in the peace of the desert. That just sounds so remarkable to me, to be able to look up and see more stars than our minds can even fathom. Chad is showing me all his sand tricks. He's practicing for the Sand Olympics.
I love this giant adult sandbox.
So once the stars start to scatter across the sky, the drums start playing and the voices start to echo throughout the dunes, and you can probably hear it going on behind me right now. We are about to partake in the festivities, and I've heard that you can actually join them with playing the drums and dancing around the fire. And so tonight might be the night where we can whip out our dance moves and yeah, just let all the good vibes flow.
Welcome to a traditional Berber village. We've driven about 15 minutes or so from our camp over into this more of a desert flat area, and it's really neat because we were able to explore all of the houses that they've constructed behind me. I guess you'd call them maybe more tents. So they have a kitchen, a dining room, living room, bathroom, and you can learn about how they manage the wind. So all of the doors are on one side of their house because they know that the wind typically goes in one direction, and they're able to like close it with the cloth and different rugs that they use. During the day, the men will actually go and take the livestock out and they'll graze like up to 10-15 kilometers away, and then they come back in the evenings where the wife will make a meal for him and take care of the kids here locally in the camp. You can see, all right, this is one family's home, and then over there you can see another family, over there it's another family, but they're like pretty spread out, and they have all their livestock, and they have so many creative ways to stay cool from the heat. We even were able to see their refrigerator, and what they do is they wrap water with these pieces of cloth, and they can pour water on it, and it keeps it really cool, as well as their vegetables and their meats that they're drying.
Salud! الصحة والراحة مرحبا.
just made it to a Ganawa village where we watched the Desert Pigeons, which is a local band that has been playing since the 90s. And it was just amazing to watch their rhythm as they were dancing and using these hand instruments, kind of like a tambourine. It's almost like you're being hypnotized with this music because they have such good rhythm, and they also can change it and make it faster and slower. They're all in sync. And I think that was my favorite part, was just watching how they are so connected with each other.
This afternoon, we were having some traditional Berber foods for lunch, and we have an eggplant and cheese tagine, which we've already had before in the desert. But the special thing we have on the table is the Berber pizza. And when they brought it out, I was like, whoa, that looks more like a quesadilla to me, because the meat and the fillings, it's all on the inside. On the inside, there is some ground meat of some kind, scrambled eggs, and I believe also a chopped up hard-boiled egg. Two kinds. There's also some onion. Something that's been so common of our time here in Morocco is ending every single meal with some fruit. And today on our fruit platter, we also have chebekia, which we tried over in Marrakesh in our food tour. But this is essentially a sweet pastry that's soaked in honey, and then it's covered with some sesame seeds on top. Ooh. When I bit into it, it was actually honey that spilled out from the inside of the pastry. This is our last candle night dinner here at the desert camp, and I've enjoyed every single meal that we've had here. It always feels so homey, and especially with the way that they plate the food and how there's such a variety of both vegetables and meats. I feel like a lot of the times people rave about the meat here in Morocco, but I'm here to tell you that the veggies are just as good. The carrots and the potatoes have been among some of my favorites. They just melt in your mouth. It's so juicy and tender. We have been in the car driving for several hours now, and the landscape has changed drastically. Suddenly it got super green, and then there were just so many patches of yellow wildflowers blowing in the wind. It was absolutely stunning. As we continue to drive into the Atlas Mountains, there have just been massive trees popping out of the ground, and we are now standing amongst those trees, and in those trees are a lot of very cute monkeys. There are many tourists over there feeding the monkeys, but we decided not to feed the monkeys just because I don't know. I don't want to feed the monkeys. But they're so cute, and they're just running around and playing with each other, eating little bugs off of each other's backs. We've just made it to the little Switzerland of Morocco, although we think it looks a little bit more like parts of Portugal and Spain that we've been to in the past. And there's so many local Moroccans here on vacation, just because our guide was telling us it looks so different from the architecture that you see in Morocco, and so they want a little something different, and so they find themselves here in little Switzerland. We want to say a huge thank you to Holiday Morocco Tours for showing us the beauty of Morocco's countryside. And again, if you're interested in booking the same tour, we'll have their link in the description box.
We're actually going to be heading to the city of Fez as our final video in this series, so if you're interested in seeing what we get up to there, definitely check it out. And with all that said, we'll catch you guys next time.